Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to answer some questions and answers that people have submitted, and I found it to be really good ones. So thank you, and keep the questions coming. All right, the first question comes from Daniel, and his question is, does our handprints tell a story of our life? Is palm reading all white lies? Well, I read it and smiled, and the reason, thank you Daniel for this, because the reason I smiled was because it took me back to when I was a little girl. Now you're going to say, well, why? Well, my mother knows how to read palms. Okay, my mother is a wonderful palm reader, and she always did it for fun. So one of the first things that I started to learn when I was a little girl was palm reading. My mother would grab our hands and she would read through our lines, and it was just fascinating. And as I got older, I remember, picking it up, and I just thought it was wonderful. But are those lines in our hands real? You betcha. It tells a story. It is a little blueprint to our mind, our heart, our lifeline, our children, our money line. So yes, yes, and yes. Now, interesting fact that I do want to tell you. Every 6 months, your lines change in your hands. And people go, really? Yes. So it's very interesting when you really take a good look at your hands. I see many lines that have disappeared that was once there, and I see new lines appearing in different areas, and it is very, very true. Why? Because your life is constantly changing and it's evolving, and so do the lines. So it is a very real thing, and it's a very accurate thing. I'd advise anybody to start reading books on hands and palms and all of that, because it is an art to doing it, and I think it's fun. But there's a lot of truth to it, and you need to learn it in its entire accuracy. But yes, it does exist. And, if you want to see, when I read hands, the palms, I can see if someone's going to have a lot of sickness in their life. I could see if somebody's going to lose a lot of children or miscarriages, if you're going to be successful, if it's going to be just through you, or is it going to be with your partnership of your spouse. Are you going to die of a long, tragic sickness, or are you going, when your time is up, is it going to be just pretty much quick? All of this tells a story. I remember when my daughter was born, and she was just a few hours old, and I was holding her in the hospital, and everybody had left, and it was just myself and Alex, and I have my little beautiful child in my arm, and she's sleeping all bundled up, and I thought, do I look at her palm or do I not? Well, of course I do. And it was the sweetest thing, they're in their little fists, and I unraveled her little hand, and I'll tell you something, everything that I saw was complete accuracy. She just had to grow into her lines, as they say. So it was something that I really love. Occasionally I look at my husband, or my husband will say, here, what do you see in my hand this time? Oh, you've got this going on, or oh, you've got that. And he goes, yeah, I do. I'm like, there you go. So I like the question. It's a great question. I want to say, yes, it exists. Yes, it's a blueprint to everything. Health, financial, mind, heart, all these things. Children, romances. Yes, you can actually see romances as well. All right, marriage lines, all of that. So it's a great question. Thank you, Daniel. I love it. Okay, so I hope I addressed it enough for you, Daniel. Okay. The next one is from Lisa, and Lisa's question is, can a husband and wife live happily ever after if one soul is growing and the other is a constant challenge and has no positivity? Great question, Lisa. Well, here's the thing. It's pretty much up to you, and that's anybody who is in a higher level than their spouse. Many times we start out the same, and then we kind of go this way. We're going in different ends. Or sometimes one keeps going up and the other one just kind of stops. So I see that a lot in couples, and they have different levels to how high they're going to go, or they're going to move away from each other, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. All of those things make a difference. The answer is, it's what you can take. if you can see your spouse for its truth, and this is all your spouse is going to be, and you're okay with that, then you're okay. But if you continue to evolve and you grow, it's going to be hard for you. So I can't answer that question because it's what each person's longevity of tolerance is. So it's basically everyone's choice to see if they see their partner for what they are and they're okay with it, then you guys can pretty much have a good life, even though you're a little bit higher and you're more positive. And you choose to look at the positive. But then there's others that say, look, I've tried and tried, I can't do it anymore. Then there's your answer. So it's a great question, but in truth, it's your decision. I can't tell you that because everybody has their pain tolerance on an emotional level to what they can sustain. Okay? Great question, Lisa. Thank you for that. Okay. So I'm looking at different things here. Here's the last question from Belinda that I want to talk about. Thank you, Belinda. Once a loved one passes, can they eventually help guide them from afar to heal the hurt they contributed to being afraid in physical form to fully speak up or protect others, the right and wrongs from afar? In other words, balance and bring a healing where the truth is the biggest measure of love. Okay, love the question too, because I honestly believe sometimes when we have a loved one that's passed and we haven't had a great relationship with, let's go that way for a minute. Whether it's an ex-husband, a father or mother you didn't get along with, a brother, whatever. You didn't have a great relationship while in this lifetime together, while your loved one was alive. And now your loved one's passed. Can they be a spirit guide? Most definitely. The reason is once they go through that light and they've been touched with universe and God, they're no longer the same in human form in how that they reacted and handled things. Many times they come back with remorse. So in order for their soul to make peace, they will be a very strong force as a spirit guide to help us attain what we need, which I think is beautiful. Many times I will tell clients, like, you weren't close with your mom. No, I wasn't. Well, your mother is coming through with an abundance of sorrow and remorse and apology because she sees clearly and she really regrets that she didn't tell you enough of encouragement or tell you how much she loved you, or she wasn't enough appreciative in what you've done. And now your mother is going to make it up to you by having abundance come to you, kind of opening up the paths a little bit more for you. So can our loved ones be a guide from afar and help us heal? Absolutely. But like I said in my previous many videos, you have to be open. If you're going to remain bitter to what they've done, then you're not letting them help you in a divine way, in a universal way. So it's very, very important. But yes, our loved ones, whether we had a good relationship or not, they definitely lead us. Sometimes I see people that have lost their spouses yet to meet another spouse, and that was the help of their past loved one. I have a woman that used to go every Thursday to the cemetery to go visit her dead husband, okay? And she would go to the grave and put flowers and clean it. Well, every Thursday there was a man who buried his wife not too far away from both of their spouses' graves. They started to talk, and every Thursday they used to just always see each other. Well, from talking and laughing, they started to meet for coffee, and one thing led to another. I don't know, I think it was 2 or 3 years later, I can't remember, but they ended up getting married. Now, did their spouses lead them to each other? You betcha. So I like to think that everyone that's passed in my life, they're guiding me. I feel their presence every day. I see them. They'll come in my dreams, or they'll just appear and start talking to me. I can't say thank you enough. It's always important too. Please pray for your loved ones. Ask God to continue to bestow God's richest blessings to their spirit and their souls. Okay? It's a very, very important thing to pray for, and that they are one with God and in peace. When you pray for that, it's that mutual, beautiful effect. You're asking for something that they can do, but you're also bestowing love and blessings onto their spirit and soul. Okay? So it was a great question. Thank you. I love your questions because you guys are really getting deep with these questions, and bring it on. Anything that you're thinking about, please. Travis and I go through these questions, and they're really, really heartfelt. So I want to say thank you. Travis says thank you, and we both just love them. Keep the questions coming, because this is what this is about. It's learning and growing, and for us to be the best people we can be. And just remember, every day is a new day to be better, to get it right, to start over. Remember that. If you had a bad day, leave it there yesterday. Don't bring it into tomorrow. Okay? All right. Until next time, subscribe to YouTube and Facebook. Keep the questions coming, and blessings to all of you. Stay well, be safe. Bye-bye.